Hello comic nerds! Today we're going to talk about keeping your comic books as pristine as possible because we want to actually enjoy our comics while at the same time preserving them in as close to the condition as they are right now forever, correct? So the first thing always, obviously you guys probably know this, we either want to have a poly bag like this or a mylar bag and keep our comics inside this at all times. But what I actually recommend is if your book's worth, a lot of money, like, I don't know, $100 or greater, keep it in a top loader like this. That way you can carry it around, not have to worry about it. You can take it to wherever you're going to read it at and, set it down and enjoy it from that point on. But you don't want to damage it in between and transport to wherever you're going to read it. So the great thing about this is, if you accidentally dropped it or a kid grabs it out of your hand or something like that, you're much less likely to get damage on it if you use these top loaders. So if you have a high quality, high value book that you do not want to get damaged, but you still want to read it occasionally, then definitely keep it in my recommendation, a mylar bag, along with a top loader like this. But once you get the comic out of the top loader and out of the bag, how do we keep ourselves from damaging it? So let's go ahead and just get to it. So we've got two copies of the same book here. One has been handled incorrectly, and one has been handled correctly. This one is eat up with a bunch of color-breaking spine ticks. If you get the angle right, you can see all the little crinkles all over it where this thumb has bent this back. There's a crease here. There's a color break here. You can just see this book has been read several times and very, very incorrectly. But if you look at this book is pristine. There's not a spine tick on it. It's just been kept perfect. There's no crinkling, there's no creases, nothing, but this book has been read. So how do you read a book so it looks more like this one after a few times and not like this one? The first thing you want to do is always have clean hands before you handle a comic book. Wash them thoroughly with just normal soap and water and make sure they're completely dry before you handle a comic book. We don't need to wear gloves or anything like that. That's just overkill, and in fact, wearing gloves can actually cause damage on comics because you just don't have the same touch and feel as you would with your normal fingers, and you're more likely to fumble around and cause damage to your book. So bare fingers. Obviously if we're handling a comic like, I don't know, a $100,000 comic book, we're not going to be reading that comic anyways, so yeah, we would wear gloves in that case when we're just transferring it between bags or something. But for your reading material and just your normal everyday comics, your lower value comics for sure, just regular bare fingers are the way to go. Never pick a book up without a board behind it. Putting a hand behind it right here will just cause the book to be damaged over time. The spine will bend back, and you'll end up with these creases along here, these spine ticks that after a time, they will start to break color. You never use your thumb to open a book right here. Okay, that's the two main things. What you do want to do is always have a board, if not two, behind the book when you read it. And I actually recommend always having the book laying flat on a flat surface, a table or whatever, when you're reading the book. We don't open a book here. It's almost impossible to get the book open without doing damage. What you want to do is you want to very carefully peel up the top of the cover like this, go back with it, and then you just kind of hold it right here with your left forefinger and thumb. We're not bending or anything, we're just delicately holding it there. And you do the same thing for every page. And you don't open the book all the way. You just get the right angle, and you read the story, and just very carefully, next page, and you go through the entire book this way. Then you let it fall flat by itself, and you keep it stored in preferably a mylar bag, but any type of bag specifically designed to hold comic books. I happen to have this mylar bag right here. Now I did a video on how to put a comic in a bag and how to take it out correctly, and I'll link to that above and in the description as well. So that's pretty much it. This isn't rocket science. Keep a backing board. If you really want to be careful, you'll put two backing boards behind a comic. That way when you're holding it like this, you don't have to worry about it bending over and causing color breaks and ticks along the spine. So 100% recommend leaving a book flat on a table when you're going to read it. But thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.